Welcome to the Out There channel, live stream 163. Robert was meant to join me today, but I haven't seen him around at the moment, so he might join us later. I've got a few things to go over meantime, and I will cue the intro music and do a few checks, and I'll be back with you in a minute. Hello, good to be back for another live stream. Starting early today because I might as well, because I'm up. It's 11 o'clock here in the morning. I'll just pause the music and intro. Okay, I'm not too sure if anyone's out there. Hopefully this sound's working alright. It's a freezing cold day here today, New Zealand, Christchurch. Down at the bottom of the world. I suppose it's cooking on the other side of the world. Freezing cold down here. If you want to come on and chat to me, do so. You need to join our Discord group. Let's see. Don't think Robert's around. But you can find the link. Let's see, I better update that. Better do a check on the sound, I guess. The link's up here at the banner, but I'll post it anyway. Copy link. Discord's a bit like cross between Facebook and Skype, I guess. Allows you to do voice rooms. People can come on chatting live, or we can chat while we're not live. You know, anytime that people want to jump in there and share information about UFOs and images, and they can do that. Okay, we've only got some tickers working. So how's it playing back alright? Sometimes audio can get crackled because they're always doing updates on things. Or we can chat while we're not live, you know. anytime that people want to jump in there and share information about UFOs and images, and they can do that. Sounds pretty good. Okay, we've only got some tickers working. So how's it playing back alright? Sometimes audio can get crackled because they're always doing updates on this. We're a bit low volume though, I think. We can chat or we're not low, you know. On playback anyway on this. Yeah, so it looks like it's working okay. Yeah. Okay. So, that UFO case from the third phase of the moon, this one here, which I said was possibly a torch in a window reflecting back, because we could see reflections, that it was actually being filmed through a window. I don't know if you can even tell on that image there. Just sort of have a hazy bits in it, reflections all over the place. Turns out there was a Rammstein concert going, he reckons, and the footage is related to them playing in concert with the big spotlights going up to the clouds. Not actually someone flashing the torch through the window, although I think it's possibly also a torch being used, because this was only part of the video. There was another lead-in part to the video which is not in this clip here, so where it was like a quick flash happening. I don't think those stage lights could flash that fast, so there was something else going on in those videos, and I don't know if they were trying to flash a torch through the window to communicate with the so-called UFO, which turns out to be this concert. So there you go, more information comes to light, so can change your conclusion a wee bit. But they must have known it was a concert. That's probably why they were filming through. So you can see here there's a reflection already on that video there. They're filming inside, so you couldn't hear the concert outside, obviously, you know, probably double glazing, probably muffles it. So yeah, they obviously knew what it was, and sent it on to third phase of the moon. So I'll just play that again. I don't think there's any sound, is there? No, can't hear it. So you can see here, definitely reflections happening through a window. And you see a bit of reflection down the bottom corner. Of course, it may only be what he thinks it is. Does sort of line up though with the pulsing. So there you go. So that was my last episode, which I did post here. Looks like it's been ghosted though, can't see it. There you go, you can get it at that level there. So that was live, the Predator one, that was live 161, wasn't it? Where does it say? Looks like it got cut off, 160, something like that. So there you go. I'm not sure if there's anything else here that Scott Brando has put up on his page, apart from this thing where they're talking about 500,000 drones storming Area 51. It turned out to be a practical joke, didn't it? And people were taking it seriously. how to get arrested, I guess, and how to lose your drone. September 20th. Is it really going to happen? I don't know. Surely not. So someone is trying to earn a few dollars using the Facebook event Storm Area 51. A viral joke. So yeah. I suppose they've had little tiny ones, you know, those little buzzy ones that you can have a little camera on now. I'm not sure what kind of range they would have. Because radio signals, I don't know if you ever played around with remote control, but some have really sucky ranges on them. And of course, if you've got that many drones in the sky, they're gonna sort of conflict with the radio signals, because they're gonna be on the same bands. And of course, they only encrypt so many different frequencies into the radio channels. So yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not sure how many radio signals you get. Remote control. How many drones can be close together? I don't know if we're going to find something on that or not. Flying multiple drones from one remote control. Yeah, there's another thing too about flying it over property, isn't there? "15 meters away from people and private property." So you can't even fly above your house and get a bird's eye view of your house now, because all the laws. Spying on your neighbours from above with a drone. But if you've got one of those little toy ones that fit in your hand, right, they have little cameras on it, they're pretty good. How would you know who was flying it around over your top of your house? And if someone shot it down or whatever, it won't matter, because they're only like $30 or whatever, and those big drones cost thousands of dollars, you know. But yeah, I was just trying to work out how many frequency bands you can have. So obviously there's got to be a joke, the Area 51 thing. Frequency bands. I suppose it's a bit like you know, the Wi-Fi router in your house. It's on the same frequencies, I believe. Drone remote frequencies. See, I'm not rich enough to own one myself to play around with. So yeah, it's 2.4 gigahertz, the same as your house Wi-Fi, right? Same as microwave. For Wi-Fi, it says here 900 megahertz for transmission. But you can put because it's digital signal, you can put a code into it, which could be up to 64,000 IDs, right? But like the Wi-Fi works with so many devices that you can have connected to it, so that would be the same way it probably does it. Yep. Generally this is either 2.4 gigahertz or 5.8 gigahertz RF jamming. So there you go. Doesn't tell us how many we can have. Is it illegal to shoot down a drone over my property? You cannot legally shoot down a drone. Yeah, and then you got the firearms. You'd be surrounded by the government guys and the SWAT teams around your house. Someone's shooting a gun next door. Don't think you can do much anymore nowadays. Yeah, I suppose it's different between countries though. Not allowed to shoot down an aircraft. Well, I would hope so. Wi-Fi jam is illegal. I suppose it would pee off people that got internet. Illegal radio frequency transmitters designed to block jam. Illegal to use in the US. I wonder how it changes per country. Doesn't take much to jam, does it? I suppose a big antenna to broadcast it. You can see the antenna on this circuit board here. You could be really annoying, couldn't you? You could carry that around in your pocket, go to someone that's flying an RC plane around and suddenly they lose control. Yeah, I could see a lot of potential problems. Obviously you can buy it from China, right? So what's it say here? The marketing, sale or use of a jammer. If you're looking to protect your business, consider a firewall instead. Okay. Still didn't find the answer though. How many drones can communicate with a controller? They've actually got a book on it. So no one's going to join me today by the looks of it. Anybody out there? Okay, understanding your drone for dummies. So this is saying different to what they were saying before. It doesn't say 2.4 there, but looks like it can be between 300 and 3,000. Yeah, but what country would that be in though? Must be able to communicate wirelessly. Paired using an RFID or a radio frequency identification. Okay, so this is what I was saying about transmitting data in the frequency. To avoid situations such as your drone being controlled by someone else's remote control, unique identification code. But then you get saturation though, don't you, with all the radio frequencies. You're going to get interference pattern, a bit like we were talking about the double slit experiment. Transmitters and receivers are paired using RFID. Broadcast over RFID is predefined with a RFD, so the receiver knows information. So it'll be a little dip switch on the remote control as well as the device, which has a number that probably goes up to 32,000, 16,000, who knows. So several dip switches that you flick to create a number. But then again, I guess it's possible that someone else is going to have the same number as your remote control, right? Especially if you got like 500 million people with drones going to Area 51, which people might show up and be conned by it. I wonder how they would arrest so many people at once though. Okay, they're talking about 2.4 here. However, the lower the frequency, the larger the antenna must be to receive the frequency. Most remote control drones use 900 MHz for transmission. Higher frequencies in the 2.4 GHz range are predominantly used for Wi-Fi. RF controls used to only be available on computers, but as the technology evolved, shrunk, and more intelligent, it was integrated into portable devices like phones, tablets. Yeah, so you can control drones with mobile phone devices now. You can pair it like you can with a security camera. And just use your phone to control it left and right, like a game controller, right? So yeah, it's quite an interesting read there. Dummies, I'll post that link. Drones for dummies. So what else we got down? We'll just look to that one. It's funny how to auto play stuff. That's quite annoying. I think you can turn it off though, can't you? Says it was blocked even though it's still playing, so obviously it's not perfect. That's it, I think. Oh yeah, lens flare. Claiming it to be a UFO. It's actually a reflection of this thing on the side here. You can actually see that. I've actually covered that in a previous live. Well, actually, not a live, but actually a episode I made called ISS UFOs. If you haven't seen it. And this is meant to be an image of the famous X-37B, the space plane, which is meant to be replacing the space shuttle, right? SpudCam again. not the highest quality image. So they're comparing it with a side by side of the actual blueprint. Looks like it's got a small payload area. Nose cone. I think it's got a fin there. Can't quite see it. You'd have to put it through filters, I think, to pop it out. I think security team put that one up. Oh yeah, so not much there from Scott. Apart from gimbal. From Mick West, who did another debunk on it, talking about how it can rotate with the camera. So this close that tab. Oh. So the other footage I've got here is from Grand Canyon that was posted around yesterday. Oh, it's got some horrible music only, so I'll mute it. Looks like the sound's going to the wrong place too. It's annoying how it keeps losing that. So, what's it say here? UFO spotted by pilots. The video was taken over Grand Canyon. The footage was shot at 120 frames per second and slowed down to 24 frames a second. What do you think it is? These are. Notice they've got it under comedy here, so hey, that's not a good thing. So UFO interest is posted here, reflections on window. I'm not too sure on that. Raw footage, not this cropped version. Alright, so maybe there's some other clues there then. What's it say here? The only crop in here is to get rid of the black bars top and bottom. Okay, so they're not agreeing with thing, but I did do some analysis on it myself. The thing is, we can't see where the sun is, so it looks like it's coming over, the sun's this direction. So we'll just play it. Probably a couple of times. I might slow it down a wee bit more because it's going still quite fast. So yeah, I'd like to see the original footage myself, but you can see here it's pretty hazy. It's not very crisp or sharp, and it's obviously going through an airplane window by the sounds of it as well. And this has been edited over too, as you'll see in a minute. Okay, so we're looking at pixel UFOs. You can see the sun's over this way. And that's it. No zoom in, no enhancements, pretty bad really. Need to play it again. Slow it down a bit more. Okay, so it's coming into view now. So let's see if we can zoom in on this and have a better look at it. So is it a reflection? It looks like a blob. It's on an angle. So at this stage it could be a blurry bird, it could be a reflection, it could be a drone, because drones are on angle to move, but we got no reference point on the motion. Is it the camera moving, or was this just drifting in the wind, or what? It's a bit hard to tell. What else could it be? Bird, balloon is another one. Could be a deflated balloon. Birds, reflection. That's really all it could be, or UFO. So just carry on. But there's a second object that appears strictly above, right? Which is kind of suspicious. They look like they're on the same angle until there. Looks like the top one's got more of an angle to the bottom one. Need to go over a bit. Same angle again. Are they changing shape at all? I think it's coming to the end. Let's see, must be getting close. Hey, how's it going, mate? Just zoom in a bit out a bit. What's you laughing about? The SpudCam. Where's they going here? Oh, there. Is it? No. I've lost them now. Pixel UFOs. I'm not too excited, are they? Well, can I see it now? Yeah, I think they clipped off the edge. Go back a wee bit. So whereabouts are they? I think they already got off the edge of the footage. Obviously they didn't see it with their own eyes, else they would have been following it still. No, can't see it. Let's get a fix on it again. Still can't see it. What's going on here? Oh, here they come. Okay, so we're only seen for a minute, and this is slowed down, so obviously they're spinning the camera around in the cockpit, and these things, we don't know how fast they're really going. Let's see. They look like they're going really slow. If you look at the background here, to the background of the mountain range, they're not moving really fast for UFOs. What are you saying? Sharing one of your vids. Yeah. So for it lacks a lot of information, mate, if it's one of your vids. Says Mark Wagner here, not Underbelly though. I would have thought it would shown on a channel called Underbelly, wouldn't it? Yeah, so where are they again? Gone, I think. Might have to slow it down a bit more still. Yeah, so takes you really well to show up, doesn't they? Should be about now. Here they come. Where they disappeared there. Is it reflection or not? Oh, let's have a bit hard to tell. Pretty barren looking place. You wouldn't want to be stuck down there, would you? Can't see anything else that I might have missed. The thing is, if it's a reflection, you'd expect to see some other things appearing in the picture as well. So here they come now, two objects. It's funny how they're both on the same angle. Need to zoom in again. Yeah, what happened there? They still look like they're on the same angle, which is very suspicious. Oh, what's happened? Oh, I must have clicked off, did I? Really need to edit it a bit better so we can just focus on objects. It disappeared again. There. So, yeah. gone. Okay, they're there. Still the same angle. It's almost like they're connected, right? I think the angle may have been changed slightly there, not so angled there. Right, let's get a snapshot of that one. Although it's not the best, is it? Now let's take it from the end to when they first showed up. Yeah, it's really hard to see them, alright. Where are they? Come on. I don't think they are a reflection. I think they definitely look like objects. Okay, let's get a snap of that one. Oh, wrong thing. Oh, right. Maybe I didn't save it last time. Did I stuff it up? Looks like it. Let's see, might save it. I forgot the input window was on the other screen to save it. It may have it cached. Yeah, let's see. I don't know if Robert's around yet. Okay, see you later. I have my suspicions what the objects are because I looked at it previously, but I look at it again with fresh eyes. Why does it come up with so many snapshots? Alright. So let's overlay them, see if the angles are changed, because that could be a clue. Get rid of those two. Okay, there's the two snapshots, hopefully. There. So it almost looks like it's got a tear shape there. Might be a clue what we're looking at, and those ones look more squashed out, right? And better quality then. If it was a reflection, I would expect it to be more transparent looking. So I think Scott's probably wrong there. Unless it's lights from inside the cabin, maybe. And you can see these are more washed out though, which could be a clue that it maybe is internal lights as the angle's changing. Okay, so let's put it through the editor. And the other one, do a side by side one first, I think. Resize canvas. Okay, we want to add extra space next to it. Width 2600 will do probably. Yep, there we go. Okay, so if we import the other one, is that the one? Or is that the one we're looking at? What's happened here? Yeah, I think that's the same one. So we don't want that one. So it is the big one. Oh. Okay. Has it changed angle? Could it be two drones on an angle, you know, because they've got to be angled to fly along. Looks like it's sort of changed, hasn't it? Probably have to try and make it transparent somehow. So this is at the end, this is at the beginning. Definitely look like they're faded. What should we do? Try that, I guess. Might have to try a different one. Darken, lighten, screen. I can see it through there. That one might work. Overlay. And that one's not too bad. Let's see. Color burn. Probably overlay was the best one. Bit washed out though. Difference. No. Color dodge. Nope. Well, it's not too bad. Yeah. I think I need to try a different one. Okay, what else can we try? Let's go back to overlay. Now, have I resized it right? Well, it looks like it hasn't changed then. Looks like it's lining up. Same angle throughout, you know. Kind of suspicious. So that sort of rules out birds for me, because I don't think birds would be angled the same throughout the motion from the start to the end. Now let's just try another one. Glow. Yep. Darken. Screen. So to get one that's really good. So if we put end to end, looks like that one's changed more of a distance, huh? Overlay. Looks like that one above has changed. Shoot, looks like the angle has changed slightly there. It's a bit hard to tell, so it's so washed out. Maybe I can darken one of them. I'll just go back to beginning. What can we do with this one? Shame it's not on a sky background, right? Because that would make it a lot easier. That's not going to work. Probably could do red though. That's not too bad. Does look like a tear shape, right? That one there seems to have two bright bits in it. I think it might be balloons, right? Let's see, import layer again. Balloons attached by a piece of cord. But then, why would they be the same angle? Well, they're not. So we just proved that. So, not the same angle, slightly different. You can see it now, right? So that one's more of a steep decline, and then it's leveled out here. And that one's more of a steep one. So it's more steep at the beginning, and it levels out a wee bit here by the looks of it. And let's see. Let's see if we can make it transparent. Lighten again. Definitely can see here now we've got the right contrast going, that it's definitely steeper at the beginning because that's how it come in. Now it's sort of changed steepness. And it looks like the right size I got here, almost overlapping the same distance. So the distance is constant, but the angle's changed. The angle's changed and the gap between them's changed this direction. I think it might be a pair of balloons, wedding balloons probably. Although it would be good to see a cable, but you can't see fishing line or very thin string between objects. So definitely at the end the angle's changed, which you'd get if the balloon was rotating in some air current, because it's only on here for a short time, a few seconds, so slowed it right down. It's 24 frames from 120. So yeah, could it change angle through a reflection? Yes it could, because the curvature of the airplane window they're filming through. Could be a reflection in the glass of the plane. So it's really those two things, really, reflection or maybe balloons. But if it's a reflection, I suppose curved glass would change the angle. It's the sort of thing you need a plain window and just shine a couple of lights on and do a comparison video on. But you can see here they're definitely changing shapes here, and it has like a tear shape, which is what you get for a balloon. And this one here at the beginning looks a bit more tear shaped. So let's do a side by side. That's right, I didn't quite make it the right size. The right size. There you can see the angle change now. Let's see. Make that one darker. Sort of shows it up better now. That one anyway. That one's better and that one's better. Oops, I moved it. Okay, let's just merge it. That one's really washed out here, but it might be rotating in the Z axis, so it's not reflecting the same amount of light off the balloon as it is at the beginning here. The angle's definitely changed, that direction. The Z direction looks like it's rotated too, both of them. I still think it might be balloons. Something like a wedding balloon. And do they have Grand Canyon? Let's see. Grand Canyon wedding balloons. Here we go. Well, there's no balloons in those ones. But there is white helicopters. Could it be two helicopters flying that close together? I don't think so. It's possible. Could it be helicopters? Because helicopters are tear shaped as well, right? But why would they be on exactly the same angle now? I don't think so. That's a pretty steep angle for a helicopter. Yeah, I still think they're balloons. Okay. Well, they do hot air balloons, so it's not going to be one of those. And they're too big and too slow. I wonder where Robert's got to. I suppose we could do two lives today. Oh, here we go. Here's some balloons. That's probably what we're looking at here. How do we get that one? See, that looks quite big balloons there. And they're sort of like egg shaped there, aren't they? It's funny how that's come up. Grand Canyon. That's the one we're looking at. Oh, what's happened there? I didn't do that. So what are they saying here 5 days ago? Daily Express, okay. Let's open that up. Arizona. It doesn't say anything. It's just the video that we're just looking at. It's funny how it came up with the balloons input here on that one though. I'll just get rid of Grand Canyon. We need people in the picture so we can sort of get a gauge how big they are. Obviously they're all different sizes. Okay. And nothing's really popping out. So let's analyze these a bit more. So we take that one there because that's the better one. And see if any obvious shape pops out. Let's see. A size. Does that look like something trailing behind there? Does look like it's got some coming off it there. Motion blur, gas leak. Doesn't quite look like a UFO though, does it? It's an alien craft. So what else can we do with this one? Definitely looks like it's got a tear shape to it. Until you do that, reduce the brightness. Kind of weird looking. Could it be a letter balloon? That one could be a letter balloon. Certainly doesn't look like a typical flying saucer there, does it? So this high contrast. So that's over illuminated the pixels here, which the camera does. But it definitely looks like it's got some sort of shape happening inside the brightness there. I don't think it's a reflection on the window. It does look like it's like got some shape to it. But it could easily be a number balloon. Hello, how's it going? Don't think I've seen you here before. Maybe a long time ago. How's it going? Whereabouts are you and what time is it where you're at? So yeah, you can see that there's definitely a shape popping out. I'll make sure the flare of the light's coming through. Oop. Looks like my thing is playing up. Just reset that. I still think it's going to be a number balloon. A letter balloon. Okay, so look at the other one. Well, this one looks wishy-washy too, right? Have a quick look at that one. What's the face for? Happy face. Okay, okay, we got this other one here. Is it the similar one? It's possible. Looks like it's got some odd shape happening inside it. Another letter balloon. Looks like it could be an E. Maybe. Don't think it's a bird. Does look like it's got some shape to it though. So it looks like it's rotating on the x-axis, which balloons do. It's gone funny on us again. Okay. If only if it was better quality footage, right? We better get more from it. Still kind of looks like a letter E to me. E. Definitely looks like it's got 3 things coming down, right? Let's compare it to the other one. That one, don't know, what kind of letter would that be? Could be a F balloon or S. No, it's got a squiggle there. Now let's have a look at these other ones. So that was at the end of the frame. Yeah, 2 balloons linked together, I think. That's my best guess on it. So this looks like my player is playing up. I mean, my editor here is IO bound for some reason. I think there's a bug in the new version of paint.net actually. More bigger the graphics are, the more it sort of clugs, especially when you're doing strings. I think it writes a lot to the swap file. Well, writes a lot to the temporary file. Resize, copy, new image. Okay, so that's the same as that one here. So for it's more overexposed, I think. So I think it's rotated around whatever it is. Looks like the E prongs are going more away from the screen. And it looks like there's a couple of dips here. It's a bit hard to tell. I think we're seeing the back of the balloon of the number letter. And we're not seeing the prongs sticking out. What else can we try here? Contrast. It has a balloon shape there though, doesn't it? Here we go. IO bound again. Oop. Yes, I don't think we can do much with that one. Yeah, it was recorded on video mode and 120 frames per second. A pilot, probably using a camera inside the cockpit. So it was a toss-up between a reflection on the inside curvature of the window from inside the cockpit, which we can't rule out completely. Or to me, it looks like it's 2 balloons that are rotating and changing angle. So looks to if it was a flying saucer, right, we'd expect to see a more defined hard shape to it. Looks like it's got little bumps, and you can see here it goes in and out, which is similar to the start at the end of the frame where it's rotated, right? I think we're looking more at the back of the balloon that's rotated. It's just so low quality. If that was lens flare, reflection on a window, I'd expect it to look similar but be more stretched maybe, and not have these funny bumps in it. And that was the other one that was above it here. So this is what's that? IO bound again. Come on. Yeah, I'm not too sure what the specs are. Apparently Underbelly was on before. He said it was his footage, so I'm not sure what he means by that. Looks like I might need a drink. So as I said, we did an overlay here. This is at the beginning of the frame, and this is at the end of the video. And definitely they've changed angle, but they've kept the same distance apart. These are faded at the end more, which would coexist with reflection in the cockpit window. But it could be because also the balloons have rotated, and we're getting more material reflecting back the sun. So in this one here, you can hardly see that one. Let's see. It's not the best of background. It's a shame it wasn't on the background of a sky, then we might be able to have something pop out a bit better in the image quality. You can see here, it looks pretty bad. Overexposed. And you can see here again, definitely has a wiggly wobbly shape inside the light. Let's see, contrast maybe. It's gone funny again. Oh, I had it then. It hasn't got a step back function either. There we go. Okay, what are we looking at? That's a good question. Doesn't look like a typical balloon. Definitely doesn't look like a solid craft to me. A deflated regular balloon, maybe that one. So from that to that, that's at the start, that's at the end. Looks like it's deflated more. But if that's the case, we'd expect the gap between them to have changed. Unless that one's heavier and it's dragging it down. So unless that's dragging it down, this one here is dragging this one up the top here, so it's always going to be the same distance apart. Well, we can play the video game, I guess. Where is it? Just clear that. Suppose I can get some image maybe in the middle here. So here they are over here. Is it going to play? You can see having that editor open has reduced some of my memory, I guess. What's going on? Oh, here we go. Okay, so it's coming into frame here, but it's been slowed down to 24 frames a second. So it's not the original footage, unfortunately. And it's gone within a second, I guess. So I've slowed it right down. So about there I took the other frame, and now they're gone. Okay, so we want somewhere in the middle. Where are they? I reckon they're just balloons drifting in the air current, and he was panning around with the camera, which only caught it for a second probably. Let's see, it doesn't stay on the screen very long, so 120 frames per second. And I've slowed it right down again. Why can't I see them? Oh, here we go. To me it looks like that bottom one's dragging the top one down. So where are they? Here. The angles look different there too, don't they? That one's down. Where's that one there? Oh. Maybe I should use the space bar. I think I've lost them again. Over here. Yep. Have to be less than a second. Let's see. 1 or 2 seconds on the video itself. Where are they going now? They're going off the screen already. Very hard to see. Here they go. But if you look at the background to the motion of these, they're moving really slowly. And he's panning the camera around. Looks like they are definitely moving to the background there, so that would rule out reflection, wouldn't it? And he's panning the camera at the same time. Yeah, that's the problem with the parallax effect. But already it's disappeared. They don't stay on the screen long. We're only talking about a few pixels. SpudCam pixels, 25 megapixel smartphones, and this is the best footage we can get. In fact, if it's 120 frames per second, it's not going to be a smartphone, it's going to be probably a high-end camera. But if they had it on shutter mode, we'd have a lot more pixels to work with. But I got it on video mode, obviously. So that's at the end where I took it before. There's just not much to go on. The background is really bad. If they're on that background, the dark background, that'd be really good, but they go on this browny light colour. Now where they disappear to here. Hopeless, isn't it? I don't think I can actually see much detail even. I think the two frames I got are the best. I think they're there. I don't know if it was submitted to MUFON or not, and they might have the raw footage, right? I don't see any number. Why is it put under comedy? Two stacked frisbees. I don't think so. Nice capture. Hi, I'm messaging from Express newspaper. Good one. It's amazing the kind of rubbish those UK rags will put up as UFOs. Amazing footage. Underbelly. So it wasn't his footage, he got it off this guy. So I don't like people taking footage and not doing any analysis on stuff. Looks like reflection on the plane's cockpit glass being shot through. I don't think so, because it looks like they're moving with the background. It's a bit hard to tell though. So we're still back to reflections or two balloons that are tied together. To me, they still look like number balloons though. Where's the latest one? Has it got the time on it? Of course not. No, that one at the end, I think. So we got no details in the description of the camera, have we? So there's not much to go on. Typical UFO sighting that's not submitted to MUFON. Why has he put it up as comedy though, his channel? That's kind of suspicious. So okay, now we got the two here. So let's have a look at this one here. So this is just before the other one, where it gets fainter, placed into a new image. Resize. I think I'm gonna have to start closing down some stuff because my computer's going slow. There we go. Still has that siggy shape going on. Well, that one we thought could be an E balloon, but yeah, it's a bit hard to tell. Oh, it's gone slow again. Ah! I need a supercomputer. Did someone beat me? Maybe Robert's up now. Can't see him in the Discord. Okay. He was meant to come on. Microwave? No, we're on cable here. It's all cable to the wall, straight to the router. Let's see. Try that one. Something's going on slow now. That one's not the best filter. Okay, flip. Probably one of the better ones we're going to get. Definitely has some sort of shape happening inside it. Can you get a shape like that from a reflection? I don't know. So let's have a look at the other one. It's even harder to see. That's got a slow going. Got too many images open, I think. Hello, Cray said. Oh, sorry, the chat window's a bit blocked. Microwave? Nope. Yeah, so what happened? Did it work? Copy, paste into new image. This one's not very good. Now, if it was a reflection, it doesn't look like it's transparent though. I'm not sure the other experts are right. Yeah, so let's see if we can do anything with it. Too many colours. Oh, there we go. What are we looking at? Obviously we're close to the pixel range of the camera too. Shame that's on a bad background there, because that would have given us some more clues, I think. I still think it could be two number balloons, you know, just rotating around. They create these brighter bits. This thing's acting up now. What we can do is change the different colour whites to other colours. Definitely doesn't look like a frisbee there, does it? Definitely looks like it's brighter here. Definitely got that shape happening there. Yep. If it's a UFO, they're sort of strange then. Biological UFOs, as people would call them. Okay, so definitely change in shape anyway. Change in angle, the space in between is kept constant. If it's on a curved window, we'd expect the gap between to also decrease, wouldn't we? Let's see, should be by the end of this one, they should be either further apart or closer together and more stretched, and looks like the size of it's been pretty constant. Curved window, I don't think it's a reflection, I think it's two balloons, two letter balloons, two letter initials of people being married, maybe, that got released from a wedding party. I think that's what we can do with that one. So yeah, I'll post the link to it anyway, and you can have a play on your big screens there. Grand Canyon. Yeah, so we ain't had too many people on this weekend. What's everybody up to? So I've done 2 hours already. Amazing. This one, you can see sometimes you spend a long time looking over and over again just to see if you can pick something. Not too many comments on it. So what other videos has this guy got up? Comedy. So if he filmed it, more likely he's done a prank, hasn't he? That's my suspicion. He hasn't got too much there. Let's have a look. It's got more subs than I have. Government chemtrail, flat earth. So is the guy a pilot that does a bit of comedy or what? Chemtrail pilots. He obviously believes in chemtrails, even though there's water vapor. Obviously he's not taking it too seriously though. It's on a comedy channel. Parody music, right? I think he's just taking the mickey, this guy. He probably knew it was two balloons. There's only other balloon footage here though. I suppose if you submit it to Express UK, it's a good way to build up your subs very quickly to your channel. Oh well, on to the next thing I guess. Yes, so I don't think it's a typical wedding balloon. I think there are a number of balloons that we're looking at in that one. And I don't think they were that far away from where they were flying. That helium balloons. And they can get quite big, as you can see. So it'd probably be one of these big ones, right? And you can see these angles here that we saw when I was amplifying it did actually sharpen some of the images. There. Definitely looks like it could be number balloons, right? Of course, you get ones that are silver and gold and blue and pink. There's all the colours there. White ones, I don't know. Is that white ones there? But silver ones would definitely reflect a lot of light back at the camera. So more likely to be silver ones like these ones here. And if they lost some helium gas in them, right, they're going to bend and twist with the wind. So they're not going to be defined letters like could explain like it's twisted here. Looks like it's twisted going around that way. So if I draw around it, looks like there's something coming down here. Let's see, it's not good. Looks like it's coming down there, going around there, down there, and back up there, right? Could it be like a twisty W balloon? Could well be. So that was the lower half one, which I said was possibly an E balloon, which also it could be. I think that's where it was rotated around. And we're now seeing the back of it, and the E's going this way. Maybe. It's a bit hard to tell. This one. Don't know. I did have a better one of that one. That one's got looks like a bit going up there, bit up there, and around here. I don't know, that one could be another E balloon, couldn't it? Or a W. Again, this one looks like a W or E going the other way. I don't know. I think that's the best we can do with it. Anyway, we'll just close this down. Maybe I'll just keep the side-by-side comparison one, that was quite good. So we can see here, if I draw a line, why is it not showing up? Is it drawing it now? Okay. That's just going slow. Come on. This is hopeless. I think there might be a lot of pixels on this one. Definitely see problem with the line one, it draws it in 4 points. I really want it to be 2 points. I don't know how you can change that at all. Squiggle, what's that say? Star. Let's see. Oh well. You can definitely see that it's definitely changed angle. Suppose I should have added the layer. Add layer. Yeah. Now we should better move it around. Oh. Grab. Definitely changed angle between. It's rotating in the wind. Oh, it's gone cluggy slow again. Definitely rotated from the start. This is the start this side, and that's at the end. Two balloons tied together. One's dragging the other one down, I think. That's what's happening. So that's why it's a constant gap between, and yeah, I think that's about all we can do with it. Actually, I might just get rid of those lines. I was going to save that first. Save it. There we go. Yeah, let's add a layer. Now we can draw the line again. Is that level? Yeah, it's gone higher up, isn't it? Sort of gives you an indication now. Definitely rotated slightly. Oh, here we go. Come on, computer. Oh, now we rotated it. Probably best to undo it, probably. Ah, you're mucked up. There we go. Okay, so why is there such a big gap between that one and that one, though? Okay, let's add another layer. We'll measure it between. Let's draw between now. Yep. Maybe the distance has changed a wee bit, huh? As well. Just slightly. Definitely closer together at the beginning and drifted further apart at the end. Anyway, still think there might be balloons by that. Anyway, I'll just close it down. I don't look like birds. Don't look like birds to me, don't say. There we go. That should free up some memory again. So yeah, just close that down. So yeah, that was all I was going to look at. Anyone that wants to bring up anything else could. I was going to talk to Robert, but he's not around. What am I right? They're not big, yeah. I'm not sure what MUFON would close them as. Probably not enough information. Certainly wouldn't close it as an unknown. I think you can pin it down to balloons, you know. Let's see. There was some other stuff. Let's see. See if I can find it. On Phil Schneider that came up, which is quite interesting to bring up. So we'll have a look at Phil Schneider. Some interesting stuff I found. If I can find the post, because I post quite a lot on my Facebook. Oh yeah, the Terminator. They've overlaid, shows what can be done with editors now, 3D mapping. One's Sylvester Stallone and the other one's the regular footage. I suppose they use that software and so that's Sylvester Stallone at the top. See that guy over there? Oh, I don't want to have the sound. Copyright infringement. So you can see it's Stallone at the top and Arnie at the bottom. Pretty good what they can do now. But yeah, anyway, keep on moving. Actually, I might just post it so you can actually watch it on your screen. So okay, where's the bit I'm looking for? Here we go, Phil Schneider. So I found this post here. About him as a total fraud. Now, the story, what's his story? Basically, he said that he was digging a tunnel underground at Dulce, was it? And they using a special drilling machine. I've got a quickly bag here. That's using nuclear, some sort of nuclear technology that sort of melts the rock and forms the outer walls instead of using concrete. Just eating something in between talking. I might just get to read out. While I eat something.
Phil Schneider.
Okay. So just read out what he's saying here. Basically, he lost his fingers, he reckons, in a fight with aliens, let's say buried into a cave, which actually had an underground alien base. So he made a claim that he lost these 3 fingers on his hand through the ambush fight that happened underground.
Phil Schneider is a total fraud courtesy of the Alien Casebook. The numerous lies and fabrications of Phil Schneider are so multiple and so atrocious that they need to be exposed. There is a website called Phil Schneider Memorial. They're actually calling it a website for a murdered patriot. If Phil Schneider is a patriot of anything, he is a patriot of disinformation. He started giving lectures from 1995, mainly among survival groups. He usually started off his talks by saying that the major reason for going public was that his best friend, Ron Rummel, was murdered in a park and had been in the Air Force as an intelligence agent. Ron Rummel had never been in the Air Force, as far as we know. Rummel was found in a park in Portland in 1993. The police had determined that he had committed suicide by shooting himself in the mouth with a pistol on August the 6th, 1993.
There's Phil Schneider and Ron Rummel. Didn't they have a really great video back then? That's almost as bad as that UFO footage. VHS tape. Who we got down the side here? Russian. Can't quite swell across. Try and keep it to English, mate. I don't know if that's swearing or what. So yep, just read out some more of this. So it looks like they've managed to get hold of some documentation about him.
Phil Schneider, with his one-track conspiracy mindset, immediately decided that his friend had been murdered. Because this story was posted when the internet was just beginning in the 90s, it has taken on a life of its own and been copied and circulated over and over. Circular knowledge is not knowledge at all, it is just repeating what someone else says. By the way, the proof of Schneider's lies lies in the math. Take Phil's age and his time on various jobs he claimed to do. Certainly try and consider time at college for his supposed degrees, which never existed anyway, so scratch the college time, and you will see that he would have been 17 years old when he went to work for the government. Phil stated that he worked in Dulce in 1979. He claimed he was one of 3 people to survive the 1979 firefight between the Greys and the US intelligence and military at the Dulce underground base. Phil was found dead in January of 1996. Supposedly due to what some one-track conspiracy-minded folks like to claim as an execution-style murder. The Clackamas County Coroner's Office finally concluded that it was suicide. No, Schneider was not murdered. Schneider had suffered from multiple physical illnesses, brittle bone syndrome, osteoporosis, cancer and self-inflicted injuries. He had intense chronic pain all of the time. But above all, Phil Schneider suffered from self-inflicting, self-mutilating psychological disorder, mental instability and delusive illness. Here is his Social Security Disability income, SSI.
I'm not sure if I can see that. You're eligible to receive the Supplementary Security Income. Social Security Act. So if he's on that and he's meant to be a government employee, kind of strange. And that's 1985. So the question is, how can he commit suicide when he's only got one hand? Because he didn't have enough fingers on the other hand to tie a knot. But basically what they said here, I think it's here, that he wrapped the cord around 3 times on his neck and then he poked it down the front. And it was rubber tubing, so as you jump off a stool or something, the rubber's going to squeeze onto itself, so it won't actually slide up because it's wrapped around and pass through underneath, so it's going to pinch even harder. So he could quite easily have done it himself.
An autopsy was performed at the Multnomah County Medical Examiner's Office in Portland, Oregon by Dr. Gunson, and she determined that Philip had committed suicide by wrapping a rubber catheter hose 3 times around his neck and half knotting in front. The late Gab Valdez, who was the state patrol officer in charge of the Dulce area for many years, also stated that Schneider's death was a suicide after examining the autopsy report.
So what's a half knotting? So we wrap it around 3 times. Probably something like that. And then you pass it through downwards. Single half hitch, 2 half hitched. So it just means pass through underneath the several turns, basically. A bit like you do a hangman noose, right? You wrap it around 3 times and then you pass it down the middle. So that's what that was referring to, I think. So what's the rest of it say here?
Cynthia Schneider was the person who actually came up with the murder theory. Cynthia didn't get this idea from actual evidence but from her mother, who had a psychic vision and concluded that Phil was murdered. Cynthia also claimed that her dad, Frank Martain, was killed in Albuquerque in 1952 as part of another conspiracy involving the government. Her inconsistent story also claimed that Phil's hands were tied when he was found dead and then later claimed they were by his side. Her story has many inconsistencies, making Phil's involvement in Dulce extremely unlikely and not credible. Cynthia Dreyer quickly started requesting money in her correspondence with Gab Valdez because, she claimed, Phil did not have life insurance. Cynthia has provided much of the rumors about Phil. There are claims that Phil was killed with piano wire, but the autopsy report clearly indicates that he died with surgical tubing around his neck. The piano wire theory was part of the psychic vision and not actual evidence. Take caution with any website or person claiming he was killed with piano wire, because he was not. Unquote.
So there you go. So the autopsy definitely said it was rubber tubing. So he had mental disorder and self-infliction, meaning he cut himself, but we'll find out in a minute that he actually cut off his own 3 fingers. It wasn't done by dynamite as claimed. The FBI have actually got a report on him because he talked about obtaining radioactive materials, and they saw him as a potential threat of building a dirty bomb. So there's a lot of information to go through. So stories turned into more stories and fabrication of truths, and so the story grew, right? So here's the underground base. They're drilling downwards, were they? Did not tell his bogus story till 1995. Phil had never heard of Project Gas Buggy.
Above schematic drawing of Project Gas Buggy, conducted by the Atomic Energy Commission on December 10, 1967, about 22 miles southwest of Dulce, New Mexico, to ease the flow of natural gas in the area. Yet Schneider claimed to be a knowledgeable geologist and explosive expert. Schneider was never able or willing to prove his allegations, such as showing the entrance to the Dulce base or where tunnels he drilled were located. Phil Schneider repeated information about underground bases that was already in print. Phil Schneider quoted word-for-word material already written by other researchers.
So there must be other researchers, John Lear included. Publisher. So what does it say there?
above Bob Lazar, who was said to have manipulated his buddy John Lear's insinuation of 1989 that in 1975 there was an altercation between US Delta forces and alien entities in a US underground facility, suggesting that it was under Groom Lake/Area 51. In other words, Phil Schneider practically hijacked Bob Lazar's dubious insinuation of 1989 that in 1975 there was an altercation between a US elite military force and alien entities in an underground base, suggested to be under Groom Lake/Area 51. John Lear credited this allegation to Bob Lazar, Lear's good buddy, and then Schneider, in turn, conveniently made himself a protagonist in a new fabricated tale, changing the location to Dulce, New Mexico, and the year to 1979, since no one else had done it before. Phil Schneider did not bring forward any new information, not already in circulation. Schneider did put on a good show for any newbie to the info. He did tie together many aspects of the material. He did correlate the data in a dramatic story format that flowed well. He put a personal face on all the material and it was compelling. Phil said I got shot in the chest with one of the aliens' weapons, which was a box on their body, that blew a hole in me and gave me a nasty dose of cobalt radiation. I had cancer because of that. Radioactive cobalt is used for commercial and medical purposes. Exposure to high levels of cobalt can result in lung and heart effects and dermatitis. Phil may have gotten his exposure to cobalt by undergoing radiation therapy treatment of deep-seated cancer. But there are no cobalt weapons except in Flash Gordon's stories. Later, Phil said, right now I am dying of cancer that I contracted because of my work for the federal government. Phil said he had a SkyLight 38 clearance factor, one of the highest in the world.
Okay.
SkyLight was a top-secret surveillance satellite system developed at TW. SkyLight is referred in SIGINT, Signal Intelligence Satellites. Phil was not involved with this type of work. No, he did not have a SkyLight clearance. No, Phil Schneider was nothing more than a narcissistic liar and fabricator. But one thing Schneider succeeded was in staging his own murder as a last resort in order to relieve himself of physical pain and, at the same time, creating a legacy of immortal personality cult among many of the brainwashed, gullible folks who inhabit the world of ufology. Here is a very interesting comment from his one-time roommate, from G. Clinton. What I know about Phil Schneider, quote, this morning in the state of boredom I decided to look up and see if I can find anything about people I used to know on Google. Imagine my surprise to find that there was a cult of Phil Schneider, who I knew very well in 1977, though 1980.
Okay, see what he has to say.
I moved to Portland, Oregon in 1977, unemployed and very short on funds. I moved into a very cheap rooming house shortly after I moved in. Phil Schneider moved in. It didn't take me very long at all to realize that he was a liar. And I thought he was mentally ill. His missing fingers. He told me that he had lost them when he was working in Eastern Oregon as a lineman when he had some sort of mishap on a pole. Frankly, I no longer recall the details. It has been nearly 40 years. His chest wound. I took him to the hospital.
His chest wound, not wound. He took him to the hospital. Okay, let's have a listen to that one. But we do know his fingers he cut off himself. But I've got that's in another video which I'll play in a minute. From Freedom of Information.
One day as I was talking to other roomers in the common room, Phil came down the stairs with blood on his shirt saying he'd been shot. A story he quickly changed to somehow being inflicted by a passing car having losing a snow stud which struck him in the chest causing the wounds. No one present believed him, of course, but it was certainly not the time for discussions of his credibility. I took him to the hospital. After a short time one of the ER doctors came up to me and asked if I had any influence with Phil. I said, not really. The doctor said that they would like to keep him for a psych evaluation but had no grounds to do so. I was asked to try to convince Phil to voluntarily submit. At this point, and having my own suspicions, I said to the doctor, "You suspect it is self-inflicted?" The doctor said, "Yes." I did talk to Phil a little bit. Of course he refused. I wish I could remember which hospital in Portland it was. Unfortunately, I just don't. But there should be records. This happened in possibly late 77, more likely 78, perhaps even early 79. There is more I could talk about, but none of it would be particularly germane. By the time I parted company with Phil entirely, probably sometime in 1980, I was of the very solid opinion that Phil was disturbed and probably a danger to himself but not others. I should note here that I am completely unqualified in any clinical sense to say these things. Now I know that no one has any particular reason to give my testimony any credibility. But there it is. I hope that this may help slightly for some people to be suspicious of anything he said. I certainly wasn't. Phil Schneider was not a horrible person. He was certainly at some level delusional. He was for a short time a very flawed friend of mine. Unquote.
So, that's interesting. So, we go from there to this other video here. Which I'll try and open up. And I'll just play a clip of it. Joe from Coriolanus. And I'll post the link further down for you to go and have a watch. Joe about Phil. Looks like my eyesight's gone. Can't quite see what I'm doing now. Phil. Very revealing little video, this one. So, someone reckons Phil is telling the truth. Again, as he says, don't believe everything. Yep, but he set up his own murder, right? If you want to go out with a bang, simply kill yourself. Phone up your sister saying, if I get killed and they say it's suicide, don't believe it. So that then sort of goes out and makes everybody think that his whole story was correct after all. So, what did the FBI know about him? Well, this guy tells you.
Secrets revealed. This is breaking news, folks. You want to tune in. Let's get into it. Come on!
Okay, we want to get past that bit.
A deceased who claimed to be involved in a military alien shootout underground in Dulce, New Mexico. Now, as part of our ongoing underground-based deep dig series here on the Joe from the Carolinas channel, you can catch the rest of that series and other episodes right here, which is...
Yeah, we just want to carry on.
And share this video. All right, so here, team, we have learned some information that none of you have heard before, and quite frankly, I was shocked to learn this myself. So the document tells us that on March 22nd, 1975, an acquaintance of Phil Schneider turned Phil Schneider in to the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Oregon State because Schneider claimed to be attempting to build a nuclear device and had radioactive material. And I quote from the FBI document, quote, Schneider was a former patient at Damisch State Hospital, Wilsonville, Oregon, from July 1968 to January of 1969. While at the state psychiatric hospital, Schneider was characterized as having schizophrenia. Under stress, Schneider would mutilate himself for self-attention and had amputated 2 fingers and a thumb. Now, Schneider's uncle was a surgeon and a physician. His name was Leo Schneider, MD. The FBI talked to Phil Schneider's uncle, regarding Phil's possession of radioactive material. And apparently Phil gave his uncle 2 chunks of radioactive material. So his uncle gave it to the FBI, and they tested it. The report goes on to say that the material was examined by Ray D. Paris, a radiochemist, and initial examination determined that the material was uranium ore, and it was radiating at 100 milliroentgens per hour. Now, these experts that the FBI sent this material to said that the prolonged exposure to or ingestion of this uranium ore that Phil Schneider had in his possession and gave some to his uncle, who was a doctor, indicated that in a powdered form, it could be extremely hazardous. Phil Schneider, according to this just declassified document, was interviewed and agreed to be interviewed by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Yeah. Did he tell us that in all of his lectures? Now, Phil Schneider gave the FBI consent to search his residence, and they traced the source based on Phil's own report to somebody that he met in a local tavern by the name of George M. So he did not get the material from an underground base because this uranium ore was already traced back through the FBI, and they tracked down the guy that sold it to Phil. How much radioactive material? Well,
so he goes on a bit there, which is quite interesting. So yeah, Phil's telling a load of lies, obviously. So he took this stuff to presentations, right? UFO talks. Probably handed it around, and people didn't probably realise how radioactive it was. So anyone else that they went to the lectures there got sick and got cancer. Maybe it was related to the stuff he was passing around. That should be quite concerning. So yeah, go and have a listen to that full thing there. He's got some other interesting videos up, this guy. Let's see if we can bring it up. So there you go, we got the FBI report and a medical thing that says he cut his fingers off. 2 fingers and a thumb, 3 digits. So he talks about the Wilson leak as well. Apollo rockets, NASA, CIA base. So yeah, black holes, men in black. So it looks like he might be worth having a look through all his videos. Beyond Theory. Looks like a credible thing, that he's got some FOIA requests. So yeah, we might have some other good stuff up there. So yeah, what did Phil Schneider's hand look like? Let's have a look. So that's why you got to question everything. Of course, all the conspirators out there will say government cover-up, right? But I think if you got obviously medical reports that you can get access to under freedom of information, I don't know. Probably because all the privacy now you got, it makes it a bit harder. Phil Schneider, missing fingers. Look, here we go. Total that thing come up straight away. So we got some images. And is that his hand there, is it? That one's got the thumb, so it must be the other hand. That's the one there, is it? Oh, yeah. So he cut off his thumb on that hand and the 2 last fingers, by the looks of it. I don't know, must be on the other hand. Unless it's reversed around, which it could be flipped. You think you get some decent images up, but there's nothing here. And that's the one I remember seeing, is this one here. Daily Express. So we'll look. Robert's still not around. Looks like the Dulce underground base scared people off. No, 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 you can't break my conspiracy viewpoint. Okay, let's see if he's on Facebook. I think he stayed up too late and fell asleep. Yeah, he's not around. Oh well. Shane, he wanted to talk about this stuff. Maybe come on some other time. So what do we got here? We know that's a photoshopped fake here. We've been through those ones before. I hate this site. This got a load of stuff being loaded all down on the side. I mean, already it's locked up. I think. Okay, so where's this from? Okay, we see his hand in it.
Now, another thing I want to reach to you is that during the unbelievable part, I was involved in building another base inside of Dulce, New Mexico, which is Los Alamos Laboratory. It's a biological laboratory. Early at that time, number of the original weld or drilling machines that were used were the rate of up 2 miles a day. It was fairly rapid. The equipment kept coming up broken, so we wanted to go down. We wanted to send somebody down there, a human observer, or human observers in this case, to find out what was going on. Well, to our total surprise, first of all, the government knew all about it. They didn't tell anybody. When I saw Green Beret and Black Beret people encamped inside of our geologist camp, I knew something was up. The gig was up. First of all, I knew all about the alien agenda. I'll explain that in a few minutes. The large alien grays had been encamped there for, as best as believed possible, about 400 or 500 years. Had been one of their internal bases. And we drilled holes right on top of it. All the stinking air, all the black sooty air came right out as soon as the first hole was sunk, and all this soot came up. And, well, that's when all the hell broke loose, really, all started. Anyway, after we drilled all 4 holes, it took about 2 days to drill all 4 of them. And when you build an underground base, you drill 4 basic holes, and you build called stopes or cross-member holes across, and you use blasting equipment, special blasting equipment by the analyzation of the rock formation, and you literally blast out or tunnel out or deflagrate or melt rock out to build the large rooms that are required for this underground base. Well, in this process, I was lowered down the basket of one of these holes, and about from me to this elderly woman here in the front was sitting a 7-foot-tall alien gray. The stench was worse than the worst garbage can you can imagine. The person or the entity was absolutely horrible. I didn't waste any time to reach for my pistol. At that time, as an engineer, I didn't have time to carry all the folderol of one of these big submachine guns that all the sea spray and the yellow fruit and all the outer perimeter and inner perimeter security people carried. I carried a little Walther PPK pistol with a 9-shot clip. This is in late August of 1979. Now, you got a regular suit of clothes, you got a regular clothes on, plus you're in a almost like a spacesuit environment, and you're reaching for a gun. It's not the easiest thing to do, and then to pop a clip in it and start shooting. And I killed 2 of them. Yes, they're mortal, and they do die. However, in the process, one of them did this. All I remember is that he just kind of waved his hand in front of his chest, and the next thing.
Okay, so you're reading the body language here. I was watching Ben Hanson's thing about how to see if someone's lying, and I think if he said if they look to their right, and let's see, they're actually making stuff up, looking right and down. He was looking right and down then. So let me just see if I can find that info. Yeah. So I actually did, back to that balloon one there, I actually did have a look, and I thought it was 2 balloons back then too. But yeah, this chart here. So if you're right-handed and you look down this direction, you're actually accessing feelings and sensations. And if you look over this way or upwards, you actually remember images and things. So I haven't seen him look to the right in that presentation, so we'll just keep that into mind. Constructing sounds, constructing images. So let's just keep that in mind while we're watching it.
Thing I know, this blue beam hit me and just literally opened me up like a fish, and burnt my fingers right off of me. And it was some form of electrical force, because the kind of like being hit by a lightning bolt burned all my toenails off of me. Completely crispy crittered my left foot, burnt the shoe right off of me. All I remember is the smoking remains, and I'm still conscious, but in and out of, I didn't remember much. And there was a Green Beret that was right behind me that risked his life. In fact, he died. But he risked his life. He shoved me back in the basket and hit the button and took me up. And I wouldn't be alive talking to you today if it wasn't for him. I'm forever indebted. He lost his life. 66 Secret Service agents, Green Berets, Black Berets, crack troops lost their lives because the government, our United States government, lied, did not tell us anything about the alien threat. There's a war underneath there, and I'm talking dead serious. It's been going on since that time.
Looking over this way all the time.
Late August of 1979, our military, the Russian military, basically the militaries of the world, have been in constant conflict with the outer space alien. The small gray, the large gray, the reptilian, the whole thing. There are 11 distinct races of aliens. 2 are benevolent. 1 had to leave here in a hurry because their world is under attack, both on the surface as well as underground. There, the Pleiadians. They're familiar. Maybe some of you are familiar with that. Would some of you raise your hands and heard Billy Meyer and some of the? Very good. About half the group. Well, Billy Meyer is one of these lucky people that they figured, well, he's kind of a simple type. We'll show him everything. Well, these are the benevolent aliens, and they've been here helping us. In fact, I have a picture. Let me reach for it here. I have a picture of one of the aliens been working for the United States Pentagon for the last 58 years. His name is Val Valiant Thor. He's right here. There's my father in the background.
Great footage. No. So he was looking to the left quite a lot there, which means
now
he was constructing things.
Thing I want to reach to you is that during the unbelievable part, I was involved in building.
Still didn't get to see his hands here. What else we got? Okay. Missing fingers, so it's on his right hand. Okay, Alright, so he's cut off his thumb and index and the first finger. Quite a strange thing to do. And the thumb. So it must have been on that video. Looks like another lecture here, is it? Again, can we see the image? So we need to find the alien picture. Let's have a look at it. Alien photo. Is it one of his? Yeah. Looks like we're not going to get close up, are we? Is that the image here? It's not very good, is it? Okay, it looks like there's a big one there. This is the picture presented showing the humanoid alien. Okay, let's have a look. That's meant to be the alien? Don't think so, somehow. So let's copy that, paste that one there. ATS on Phil. Is it going? Hang on. Ugh. I think the mattress on the bed is sliding again. Okay, so what are they saying here about him? It's funny to see the picture up close, indeed. Okay. Does anyone say anything reasonable here? Is the question. Okay. Is it sound still working? Is it unmoved? I better check. Hello. Oh yeah. Cool. Still working. Let's have a look. How are we supposed to know if he's an alien? He looks human to me. Yes, with a solid jawline like a rugby player. Maybe all rugby players are aliens. If they were really here with one lung and larger vessels, would not one or many of them by chance end up in the weird circumstances where they may end up in hospital or dead? True, they get hit by a car or accident. Also, just notice his unusually large fingers. Which fingers are these? Thumb and pointer. What's he mean by that? Alright. Down here. Just looks like a 7-foot guy to me. Yeah, it does look like a big rugby player or some kind. Don't see how his fingers are any different to other humans. I would see he's obviously like 6 foot plus. I draw on a daily basis. Pretty good eye and judging sizes. Just appears large because of the angle he is holding it compared with the camera. In fact, his arm is leaned on top of the surface behind him, which is a little hard to tell. There's also a distortion in the picture. It means that everything in the middle becomes relatively smaller compared to the things near the edges. So yeah, okay. So it's like a fish lens, is it? Let's see. Go back to it again. Stretched in the middle. His arm does look longer too, doesn't it? I guess it is sort of stretched. Probably played around with it. So what else we got here? Anything else? The fact that he seems to be the youngest guy by far margin in the room. What are we looking at here? He's a human as you and I, so he has a thick neck. Like I said, he looks like a sports player, you know, a rugby player. Look at this guy here. Long jaw, got the rugby jaw. Thick neck. Small ears, that one looks alien. Definitely play a lot of football, but that's what those guys work out in the gym. So what are we looking at here? I've identified some people in the photograph. Take a look, see if you agree. Arthur Holly Compton was an American physicist who won the Nobel Prize. Carl T. helped develop radar and atomic bomb and headed the team. Okay. And this is father. But does that really help us any? It goes on a bit here, doesn't it? So I might just kill the MUFON cases today again, and just wrap up soon. Coming up to 3 hours already. See what they're saying here. This is the ready room of the Aldridge, which by itself makes it a rare find, being the experiment fixing to take place there. There's also FBI notes, Phil Fusion at Hoover, hey, for escaped Aldridge sailors from the experiment, which would so said appeared and disappeared in front of other sailors on the ship. Wait, are people still taking Phil Schneider seriously? That's probably the real news here. Feel free to search here. They do a good job of pointing out the guy's issues. Even his mysterious death isn't really lining up to the hype. Read most of what he talks about in the video is Hooney. Magno levitation trains connecting all the underground bases. So yeah. There's quite a lot of pages on them. Is that the last one? 22 pages. But I think we've pretty much debunked them there with those FBI reports. Once you caught them one lie, it sort of discounts everything else. If they could prove that he actually lost his hand through dynamite or explosion, that would have added to his story of it being shot off by a laser gun. But since it's in a medical report that he cut his fingers off, I think that nullifies everything he's ever said. If you lie about one thing, you're going to lie about other things. So yeah, his body language of the looking is also a bit suspect. So if you remember in a story, you'd be looking upwards this direction mostly, not to the left like he was. Constructing images, sounds. Feelings. Although this is not 100% conclusive. Still interesting. Oh well guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks for joining us. Add your comments in the comments, like and share. I'm just going to wrap it up now. I started a wee bit earlier today, probably a couple of hours early. Is it? Let's see, normally start at 1. Yeah, a couple of hours early, so there should have been some other people on now. It's after 1 o'clock if they were going to come on and talk, and they haven't shown up, so I think we'll end it there. Why is it not switching? Thank you, and good night, everybody. I'll see you again sometime in the week. I'll probably be doing some nighttime ones.